Okay, good evening, everyone. How you doing today? It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. My name is Deborah Jones. I'm here with you with Blue Table Talk. I'm your Blue Table Talk host. And tonight we have some distinguished guests tonight. But before I bring them on or him on, however, I'm still waiting for the writer of the play. But until I bring them on, I have to do a little housekeeping. And so here's some news that you can use. Don't forget, we still have that virus out, the coronavirus. So let's stay safe and stay vigilant because that virus is no joke. So everybody can get it if you don't take care of yourself, if you don't do the 3 W's, wash your hands, wear your mask, or even watch your distance. So you need to do all three of those just to stay safe from everybody else. The vaccine is out and it's been out for a minute. So make sure you go online and register for it. You can register for any city office, like the health department, in the city health department, Port Arthur, Silsbee, Beaumont, Orange, any health department. So go online and register for it, and they'll give you a number. And once they give you that number, that they will call you and sign you up to take the vaccine. So I'm sorry. And most of you have already taken both of them. I know I have. I've taken both of the vaccines, and it doesn't stop you from getting the virus, but it slows it down for you. So let's go ahead and stay safe from it. And once we do all that, we can. I'm pretty sure that this virus will be over before we even know it. So you can go to Beaumont to get tested for it. You can go to Beaumont Urgent Care, which is on 3650 North Major Drive, Suite A. The phone number there is 409-333-1272. And you just walk in. Also, you can go to MD Kids Pediatrics, which is on 490 I-10 North Congress Road, Suite 100. Phone number there is 409-212-1988. You can also go to Krista's on Dowling Road. And I don't have the phone number for that one, but as you drive around the city of Beaumont or anywhere, you will see signs that says COVID testing here. So some of them charge and some of them use your insurance. Just what is going on with that. So tonight we have with us tonight. This is Black History Month, and everybody know that. Well, they only give us like 28 days for Black History, 29 if it's leap year. So this is Black History Month, and to conclude this month, we have tonight. We're waiting for Crystal to come on. I hope she comes on, but let me go ahead and introduce, just in case she's not here. We have playwright Crystal Ray of Crystal Ray Productions. We are Jonathan have he babysitting. We have Jonathan Williams, Performing Arts Director of JWCPA, and they will speak to us. Let's speak a little about the work that will be presented to the public. But right now, we're gonna try to dig some up with Jonathan. We're gonna see what he's all about. So, hi, Jonathan. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing well. How about you, Deborah?
I'm great. Thank you for asking. I'm so honored to have you here tonight with us because I love your plays. I've seen a couple of them before.
Oh, great.
I'm just asked me to be a part of it. I'm just waiting.
Well, it was good to have you. I'm really glad to hear that.
I'm just waiting to be an actress.
Oh, great. Oh, that would be good to have you. Oh, absolutely. Are you a singer also?
No, don't play with me. Don't play. Don't play.
Okay. All right.
So let me say hello. Let me say hello to my viewers. Hey Rosa, hey Stephanie, hey Claudette. Look, you guys, go ahead and hit that share button. Go ahead and hit that share button on your computer so you can share with everybody else so they can come in also. So Jonathan, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, many of your viewers may know me from Martin Elementary. I taught at Martin for about 9 years from it was 96 to about 2004. And we toured around the country. Some of the notable performances were the White House, Disney World, the Capitol in Austin, San Antonio. And after Martin, I taught at Houston Academy, which is a fine arts academy there in North Houston. After that, I was here at Ozan for 5 years and just retired in 2016 and started this nonprofit performing arts center.
Okay, so what is the experience of performing art like?
Oh, it's great. Actually, I was really blessed to be able to do what I enjoy most my whole career. Um, and so it's great. It's hard work, but it's nothing like doing what you enjoy doing. So I enjoy it quite a bit.
So have you always thought about doing that, or it's just something you just one night you went to sleep and woke up and say, "Oh,
Wow. Um, actually, this part of it, I changed when I started teaching. I was in marketing before, and I taught privately while I was in marketing. And so that was a totally different experience. But once I started teaching in public school, I came up with the idea of touring and performing in musical theater. And so it was somewhat of an epiphany, but it wasn't originally planned that way. It just kind of fell in my lap, so to speak.
So I remember you at Martin Elementary School. I'm gonna take you back a little bit. I remember you at Martin Elementary School when you was working with the choirs and everything. I mean, just awesome director. And
Thank you.
you took the choirs up to DC and they performed over there.
Right, right.
And it was like everybody said, if you're in Martin's choir, then you know that's the best choir. And then we used to say, I said,
Well, thank you.
they have other schools. No, you have to listen to Martin Elementary's choir. So, but everybody loved the choir that you were the director at. So if you're performing concert, like directing the choir, I know it's fun. I know it's awesome. But I have seen your plays, so I know they're awesome also. How long have you been directing?
Wow. Choral directing, it's been about 37 years. And musical theater, it's 20 years.
20 what years?
It's been quite some time. It's my whole professional career, actually.
So you've been 30 years, you said?
37 years.
37 years. And then performing arts, how many years? Theater arts, how many years?
In the theater, about 26, 27 years.
But tell your age.
I started that much later. Well, yeah, you can tell from this goatee that I've been around for a little while. But yeah, it's been great to be able to conduct choirs as well as musical theater. And the musical theater part, it basically expands your reach and expands your ability to partner or collaborate with other people because it includes acting and dance. My specialty was in music, of course. And so collaborating with the other specialists was really one of the highlights of my career because you can do more with several than you can by yourself.
Right. So you enjoy this part of your life in theater arts better than the musical part of it, or what? They about the same?
Well, it has both, I would say, have highlights. When we were performing as a choral group, for example, at Ozan High School, two of my students were named outstanding performers, which means in solo and ensemble at the University of Texas, two of my students were in the top, I think it was 0.5% of the 25,000 who auditioned during solo and ensemble.
Right.
and they were named by college professors. And
Wow.
so to be in the top 0.5% of 25,000 is quite a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's awesome. That's awesome.
yeah.
That's nothing but from Jonathan Williams.
Well, thank you.
Well, we have Crystal join us. Hey, Crystal.
Oh, great. Okay.
Thank
Hello,
you.
everyone. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So, guys, we have with us playwright Crystal Ray of Crystal Ray Productions, and we are so glad you came in with us tonight. So,
Thank you for having me.
tell us a little bit, Jonathan, excuse me, tell us a little bit about yourself.
That's okay.
I'm Chicagoan. Illinois is home. Was born in Austin, Texas, but we got scooped away rather early in life. So I claim the Bulls and Chicago style pizza, and I'll say pop. And it's been a pleasure, though, to return back to the home state. I came for college and just stuck around. And not long after college and doing Abilene Christian University and staying in that town of Abilene for a few years, I got very emboldened and was like, let me see if I could be a real artist or if I'm only good in Abilene. And no diss to Abilene, but the very sweet farmers and cowboys and supporters out there, I was wondering if they were lying to me. Like, that was real good. And you're like, was it good?
Yeah.
So I came to play with the big kids, you just kind of say, okay, let's see what the big kids are doing. So I felt like Houston would be a good big kid place to start things. And it's been such a wonderful transition. Houston's been very sweet to me. And so that's the journey in a nutshell. I decided after a failed Lion King audition that I would start writing and producing for myself. I was so mad, Miss Jones, I'm telling you, they didn't cast me to be grass. They didn't cast me to be, I never wanted to be cast as a monkey in my whole life, but I was hoping to be Rafiki and to paint myself blue. And when they were like, no, thank you, or really what they said is, thank you, which was no thank you. When they said, thank you, and I walked out of that audition, I knew. I was like, I'm gonna write for me. And I'm going to figure out how to cast myself. And so that started the Crystal Ray Productions journey, and I'm grateful for that no. That was the best no in the hardest 16-hour drive. But that no was the no for me to yes to what was the stuff that was in my heart.
Yeah. So were you an educator first? What?
No, I went to school to be a performer and was kind of chicken. About really giving it a shot. And so kids have always been like a happy place for me. And thankfully, I get to teach theater now. And these days, I was doing kindergarten, massive fail. Kindergarten and me, like they still crying. They still kind of want a bottle. Lord. So I was the itty bitties.
Yeah.
I think the Lord made them cute because they were infested with disease. I was sick all the time. I don't know if you know anything. Kindergarten, are you familiar?
Oh, I'm a retired educator.
Listen, so you speak what I'm speaking. I mean, they would call my name. I would come over there just so that they could sneeze in my face. And I would almost be like, you playing that. I started getting real paranoid. So I knew it was time for me to
get on out there.
Because I felt like kindergartners were plotting on me. So I was like, you know what? But so middle school has been a happy place. They don't pee on each other when they're mad with each other. I feel like I have moved up in the world. And so I get to teach theater to them and we have a good time. And then I get to do theater and write it. I'm really grateful. Really grateful.
Yeah. Well, let me go to one of my viewers. She says her name is Claudette Foreman. She said Mr. Williams was a phenomenal theater director at Houston Academy and Aldine School District. Houston. He brought so much to that program. So they remember you from Aldine. So that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Hey,
That's good to hear.
Yeah, good to hear. Yeah. So,
thank you.
Yeah, she was on doing where I was putting everything on the line. She kept saying, "Oh, Mr. Williams gonna be on. Mr. Williams gonna be on." So I knew she kind of knew you somehow, somewhere.
Right.
And Claudette is my cousin, so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, Mr. Williams and Crystal, what are your strengths and weakness in theater arts?
Well, do you want to start with me or with Crystal?
Okay, whomever.
Okay.
Hope y'all got them.
All right.
Crystal, you want to go? Oh,
you know,
Jonathan go.
every artist bring their strengths and their weaknesses to their profession, whether it's in the arts or any other profession.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that my strengths are one, I have good vision for a total picture of what a production should look like, and the ability to bring different elements together to produce a good show. One of my weaknesses is that I'm too detailed sometimes, and it bogs me down, and it takes a little bit longer for me to do a task than perhaps another who have another vision for that particular project. So each person bring their own strengths and weaknesses, and you emphasize the strengths and keep it moving.
Been moving, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Crystal, you want to elaborate on that?
I'd be happy to share my own for sure.
Yeah.
I think the strengths are creating, like people just saying, oh, we're thinking about, I don't know, we're going to write a story about a bug. We need a story about a bug, Crystal. And really that's bug. Okay. Is the bug from Russia? Like, what does bug do? Like, and I'm sitting here thinking, and pretty much I could have a story for your Russian bug who falls in love with a black guy and they make music and they dance the polka. I'll have it all written out probably in a couple of hours. It doesn't take me long to kind of just out story. Now, whether or not it's the best Russian bug fall in love interracial relationship story you've ever read, don't know, but I wrote it. As far as like a weakness, I hate details. I hate that.
Really? Oh, I didn't know that.
I can't stand them.
But you have to have a little detail in the story.
Right.
Oh no, that's creating worlds. So that's really different because all you have to do is listen to the voices talk, right? Which is why some writers feel a little bit schizophrenic, but you're just listening to, and you know that the book, it has something it wants to say, and you just gotta let the head down. Come on here, bud. Everything flourishes. But as far as
you must be talking about those Russian bugs, because bugs here.
By the time I'm done, it's going to be the best Russian bug story you've ever come across. But the details of like, what time, Miss Ray, are we all going to meet together so that we can rehearse? I'm like, what time are you off? Come right here after that. Like, why are we talking? Details are bothersome to me, and my hat is off to Mr. Williams because he's done casts of upwards of like 30, 40, 50 people at a time, more than that. Inside, when he tells me that, when I hear that, my blood pressure, just that many people asking me to tell them again what I just said. That's kindergarten again. I'm like, whoa!
It's all a part of it, right?
It is. But the part where I just get to write the story and hand it to somebody else,
right?
Yeah.
So, Ms. Williams, how do you work with so many people at one time?
Teach us.
Well, really, it requires a lot of volunteers as well. And I've been fortunate for this last 4 years to have some amazing volunteers that help behind the scenes. A number of people that the audience will not see that has helped to put different components together. And so there's a whole staff that is working. If we did a production on behind the scene production, it would be just as entertaining as the production on stage. It's quite busy backstage. So we have quite a few volunteers, and that's how we do what we do.
So how do you pick your performers?
Well, we we're fortunate to be a community theater type functioning organization in that you don't have to have a particular skill set. We train. That's what we're about. That's part of our mission to educate. And so we have beginners to professionals participating in our productions. Crystal is quite a seasoned professional, and so we've had her here in one of her one-woman shows for a dinner theater. And so, from the professional to the very beginning, one of the participants of this Black History program is Nevaeh Mahoney, who started with us when she was in the 5th grade. She's now in the 8th grade. And so that was her very first experience in musical theater, was in the Gospel According to Scrooge. And so we really pride ourselves in training as well as being a conduit, if you will, for seasoned actors and actresses.
So Crystal, how often do you write plays?
Rather often. I'm working on a tiny web series. So between those two shows and learning producing and the producing hat of putting things together for others, I try to keep my fingers busy.
So do you guys always work together, or this is your first time working together?
No, as I mentioned, this is our fourth project, actually. Crystal was here in Mahalia. I'm not sure if that was one of the productions that you saw, Deborah. Excuse me. Did you see Mahalia?
Can you redo it?
We did. You were one of the ones that we had hoped could come out and didn't make it. But yeah, we produced it the first time in 2017. And then I think it was in 18 that we produced it at Lamar Theater with the same actors. And we added 2 of our local performers, Bonnie Williams and Marche Smith.
I remember that. Yeah. Yes, I remember that. Yeah.
So those 2 performances Crystal was a part of, and as I mentioned, the dinner theater that she did the one-woman show for. We also had her as an instructor for our summer camp. We did a virtual summer camp last July, and she was one of the instructors. So this is actually our 4th project. Yeah.
Okay. Excuse me. Okay, so what sort of stories excite you guys?
Wow. I like period pieces, historical pieces, fantasy pieces. We did The Lion King, that's considered fantasy. We did The Jungle Book, that's also considered fantasy.
I did see The Lion King.
What's that?
The Lion King.
What about it?
I saw it.
Did you?
Yes.
Oh, great.
Was that the one at Julia Rogers or something?
No, that was actually no, that might have been another production company. Yeah, we did The Lion King at West Tab here in Beaumont.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. You might know Jo Ethel Larkins.
Oh yeah, I know Jo Ethel.
She's produced a couple of shows there at the Julie.
Right.
And did a great job. That's I think Cheryl Guidry did a show there.
Yeah.
And so
I can't remember the name of it, but I remember that because I was there that day when they did that.
Oh, you did? They did. Cheryl did The Wiz.
Okay, that's what it was.
Right. Yeah. And they did a great job. They really did a great job. So local theater is thriving. We want to keep it going even during this pandemic. So we appreciate your viewers tuning in tonight and then signing up for Saturday's performance.
Yeah, we're gonna talk a little bit more about that in a minute. Uh,
Okay.
Crystal, what excites you? What stories excite you, Miss Playwright?
I as far as like writers, Katie Camillo, she has my heart. She tells these stories of people being honorable and trying to find ways to serve, and there's a sense of like knighthood to her storytelling.
Mm-hmm.
And I just love her as a writer. She's fabulous. Now, playwrights, Susan Lori Parks. I fangirl about Suzan-Lori Parks. Like she is just, she just makes my whole heart just beat so fast. I saw her in New York and I was like, I don't even care. I'm about to be that person. I'm about to be that person. Hi, I love all your. I was that person. She's
right.
And she's so sweet. Anyway, because I was that person. But Suzan-Lori Parks as a playwright, just phenomenal. Everything she writes hurts your feelings and blooms and just shouts from the heavens. It's fabulous. And so if my pen was ever compared to anything that she did, I'd be like, y'all lying, but thank you. Yeah, she's great. The kinds of stories I think I'm into are just honest stories where people just get to rip things apart and look at things from a different angle. I tell a lot of biblical stories in my own writing, and where I usually have some kind of biblical. It's like a whiff of it, like when you smell a good-looking man and he go by and you're like, "Who is it?" And you're looking for him, like not that you're gonna introduce yourself, but you just want to know who that smell belongs to. Just
Right.
I like biblical analogies to walk by in my writing that way. It's not like, hey, here's a Bible story, kids, but it's more or less like just something that just walked past you. Like that felt familiar and it felt good. It felt interesting. So it tends to be a motif that kind of is stitched in my writing. You'll see it stitched and tied in like weird and funky ways. I think the Bible is a funky book. I think it's just got some really curious ideas. I mean, love one another is great, but I mean, there's some strange stories in there, and they just tickle me, and I love looking at it and trying to turn it. So, if it's my writing, it's probably somehow biblical. It's probably Black. My dad's personality is usually the personality I am putting under a magnifying glass. He's my favorite man in the whole world. And so Tide is his style of talking turned up a notch. Like this wandering kind of storytelling, that's my dad.
Right.
Yeah. I hope I answered that.
One lady says, "Oh, just Kathy." She says, "Crystal is fabulous."
Ooh, she is. She absolutely is.
Okay, so I know everything has copyright and everything, but could y'all take someone else play and do it yourself, like "Mama, I Want to Sing" or something like that? Could y'all?
Yeah, if you, there are publishing companies that offer shows, and there is a royalty fee that you pay based on the size of your theater or the number of performances you're planning. So there is, and depending on whether or not that copyright or that playwright has an agreement with the publishing company, will determine what the rates will be. If you are going directly to the person who's written it, then the two of you will come to an agreement on what the royalties will be.
Okay. Just like anything else, huh? Just like a song you want to take and
right.
Yeah.
You would either go to that person or go to that person's representative, and you'll come to an agreement on what the royalties will be for that particular show or that song.
Okay, so how do you guys go about picking your performers?
How do we get our performers? We make announcements on social media, on in newspapers, depending on how large of a cast we need. We might go to the school district if it's including children actors or singers, and that's generally how, and word of mouth, which is, I think,
That's the best way to do
the best way, yes, because that person knows someone who knows someone who knows someone.
it.
Yes.
Right.
Mhm.
Exactly. And then after that, they have the audition.
Yeah, we have an audition. We teach generally a song, movement, and an excerpt from whatever piece we're doing for an actor. And we'll teach them that short material. It would only be about 30 seconds because you're listening to quite a few people at one time.
Right.
So it's about a 30-second, 40-second excerpt.
Mm-hmm.
And we would teach that to everyone at one time. We'll teach the music at one time, then the dance, and then the acting. And from there, we'll give them a few minutes to work on their material, and we'll give them a number. And from that number, we'll hold auditions. I generally invite local directors, actors, dancers to sit in on the auditions for their input.
Okay. I know when I was young, my ambition was to be a dancer. I've always wanted to be.
Oh,
Yes.
oh, that's good to know.
I don't
Okay.
know. I'm a little bit older than you guys, so you might not know who I'm talking about. Lola Falana.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Sure.
I wanted to be in the cage next to Lola Falana and dance there. And my mother said, "With that mouth that you have, you wouldn't come back home." So no, that was in New York. So
Okay.
I couldn't go to New York. I couldn't go out there and dance. Excuse me. And so after that, so I didn't do that. I was on my hair. I didn't go out there to dance. So I became an educator. So since I became an educator. So I still was dancing.
Great. Oh, sure. And you really don't have to put those skills down or that desire down. You can still, at whatever level, perform or dance.
Right.
Yes, absolutely.
Right. Wow. So, what is? Tell me a little bit about the production that. No, I don't want to know about that right now because I'm talking about what's coming on right now. So, name two of writers who inspire you guys, and why did they inspire you?
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Go ahead, Crystal.
Two writers that inspire me. I already spoke on Suzan-Lori Parks. She's just super honest, and she tells stories of people whose voices I've never heard before. Some of the titles can be kind of abrasive on her plays, but if you can get past the title and jump into the writing, you will be on a journey that you will not regret. So that's Suzan-Lori Parks. And I mentioned Katie Camillo as a fiction writer. Shamefully enough, I want to just say somebody we all say. I really love Langston Hughes' poems, and I just think that he's Langston Hughes for a reason. He's good at what he does, and he was good at what he did do, and he inspires me. That his work is it's just to the point fab. So hopefully I've hit 3 different places: playwrights, fiction storytellers, and poetry. Boom, on to you.
And you did say Langston Hughes, right?
I did.
Love Langston Hughes poems. I love his writing. What about you, Jonathan?
Well, I really look more at a piece rather than writers or even composers. There's certain types of music that I enjoy. I really enjoy gospel, but it is a certain type of gospel. So Jonathan Nelson, I forget, he's more of a contemporary writer. I want to say McMillan, but I know that's not his last name. But they're more contemporary gospel writers than traditional writers. And in the area of theater, as I said, I love musical theater. One of the areas that we are hoping to develop within our organization is a signature piece that we can call our own. And that's one of the reasons why we explore new works, is because it gives us an opportunity to get to know a playwright or a composer and their style, to to produce them, and to, by the time you're finished with that whole process, you get to know them as a person, as well as a playwright and or a composer. And so I really enjoy Crystal's writing. There's something about it that grabs you, even though it is very different in its approach. It's very relatable. Um, Everyone that I spoke to after her one woman show was really, really excited about what they saw and wanted her to come again. So I've asked Crystal, put her on the spot about doing a children's show. So hopefully she'll have that in her docket of to-dos for later. But yeah, I like more styles than anything. I don't really look at composers per se, or playwrights. I look at styles.
All right, Crystal, you gotta get on there. You put your those
Uh,
shows.
we talked about that a while back, and it just wasn't enough time. I'd asked her to consider doing something for this coming summer, but it takes a while. It's a process. And particularly if you're adding three elements, you have the vocals, the dance, and acting. And so that takes a while to do if you are producing it by yourself. Now, when you're collaborating, the process requires less time, but it still requires valuable time that you have to dedicate to it in order to have a good end product.
Cheryl Chambers said his name was Jonathan McReynolds.
McReynolds, that's what it
Yeah,
was. Yes. I know it was one of the Macs.
Margaret Holly. Okay,
But I
wait.
love their music because it's a mixture of different genres, jazz and a little pop and so forth. And so he's an excellent writer and singer.
Yeah. And Margaret Hollier Adams says, I really enjoy Crystal's one woman show.
Oh, good.
Oh,
Great.
I'm gonna have to check into that.
Well, she was here. This was, I think this was in 2018, or was it 19? Do you remember, Crystal? It was not long ago, and
the details is not my thing. I already made something.
You got to keep a tab on the Crystal.
And so, but she did an excellent job, and you know, one of the things that we want to emphasize in JWCPA is developing and also hosting and introducing talent that is in our region, not just in Beaumont, because many of our talented performers leave the area because of lack of opportunity.
Lack of opportunities.
Right. And so we want to be a part of bringing opportunity to Southeast Texas for performers.
Yeah. Cheryl LeBlanc says, I just love Mr. Williams. When she came back, she said he had a big difference in Beaumont.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I really appreciate that.
But you know, we're going to have to do something to bring Beaumont back to what it used to be.
Yeah.
Everything has died out, and now it's time for us to rise again.
Yes. That's what we're doing now.
Yeah, but on that area, you know, we gotta make it happen.
You're helping us to do that. We appreciate that.
We gotta make it happen. I mean, I'm here for you. I'm putting it like that. I'm here for you.
Thank you.
Anytime I'm here for you. So with that being said, what give me one theater show that inspired you?
Me, The
Yeah,
Lion King.
The Lion King. Oh yeah.
Yes, uh, many people see that as kind of popcorny type
No.
theater, but the the number of elements that was created in that show, in the production of that show, changed musical theater. Not just that show, but it changed the industry.
Mm-hmm.
The puppetry that's being used was all invented by the staff of The Lion King. Juliet, the writer, is also a sculptress and or sculptor. She designed and sculpted each one of the headpieces that you see in that show.
Wow.
Now, that is phenomenal in itself.
Yes.
And the show was developed in the Midwest first before going to Broadway. And
Right.
so they had quite a bit of backing that was over $2 million just for developing those masks. Because after they were formed of clay, then they had to be created of resin so that it could be managed by the performers on their heads.
Right.
So that was $2 million just in headpieces
Right.
developed by
Wow.
her.
Wow.
So there were a number of innovations that was created
Yes.
by that show, not to mention the large cast. Now, we have done a cast for Gospel According to Scrooge over 54,
Mhm.
and it was 137 with all of the technicians behind the scenes, because we had those who were on the video area. We recorded it. We had those on audio. We had a 50-piece live orchestra. We had costumer. Georgia Williams did an amazing job, and she had a number of volunteers to help her. We had makeup artists, Nitra Hammond from Houston, as a matter of fact, was one of my parents at Houston Academy, and each year she would come to Beaumont to help us with our productions.
Right.
And
Right.
so she did makeup. And so if you can imagine costuming for 54 people, and some of the main characters had to have 2 and 3 costumes. So she just did an amazing, amazing job. But I love the complexity of those large productions, like The Lion King.
Right.
The Jungle Book is another. It requires a lot of moving parts, and that's something that I really enjoy doing.
Right. And I love The Lion King.
Yeah.
Every time I watch it, Priscilla Payton says also, she says she loves The Lion King. Every time I
Yes.
watch The Lion King, I cry.
Did you? Oh wow.
I don't care if it's on television. I don't care if it's a production somewhere. I'm gonna.
Okay.
I mean, I cried on I Love Lucy. So if I
Okay.
so The Lion King is
All right.
expecting me to cry.
Right. Yeah, well, that show has been on Broadway now for between 20 and 25 years.
Yeah.
And each show or showing has been full.
Right.
It hasn't been 25 years of, we hope we were going to make it.
Right. Right.
Each show has been sold out. Now that says something about the
That's
production
right.
itself. Yeah. As a matter of fact, while I was at Ozan, I took, along with some volunteers, a group of students to New York to see The Lion King and Annie, and they were amazed.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
were amazed.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, where did you go to see that?
This was, I think, in 2014, if I'm not mistaken. We did a fundraiser, and about 16 Ozan students, and I think there was about 5 chaperones went to New York.
Right.
and had a great time. Oh, the kids, oh, they were amazed.
Yeah.
You know, the city itself is entertainment. You know, you just, it's amazing to see and experience. And so when we got to the theater, they were just in awe of what they experienced. The Lion King with the elephants coming down the aisle in the opening scene and so forth. And so it was a great experience.
Right. You
Yeah.
guys are awesome. I mean,
Thank you.
my hat goes out to you guys because the work that you do, and you know, it speaks for itself.
Thank you.
So,
Yeah.
but why I'm saying that, why don't you tell us something about this weekend? You guys, y'all know this is Black History Month.
Yes.
And they only, like I told you earlier, they only give us 28 days, but I'm Black 365. I don't know about y'all.
Exactly. Celebrated all year.
All year round. So
Right.
anyway, so the this weekend we're having they're doing a virtual play, right? Am I right? So tell us a little bit about that.
It is a virtual reading of Crystal Ray's Tide. And so I'll just kind of pass it over to her and let her talk a little bit about the show. Crystal?
Hi, everyone. So it's my baby. The play Tide is telling a father's story of he's the dad of one of the 4 little girls who were lost in the bombing at the Street and I had an actor come up to me and he said, you know, I really want to play about being one of the dads of the 4 little girls and how I felt when I found out my kid, you know, was in the church and was no longer, you know, with us anymore. And I was just stunned. I had never considered what the dads felt. And I soapbox, sometimes I don't think I consider enough of how guys feel about things. I'm like, yeah, the dads had a feeling about this and it needs to be written about. So it was just a beautiful journey. And so that's kind of the crux of the matter is that he's found out and it's a year later and we watch him remember his daughter and how beautiful that is. And then we watch him make some choices about how he'll choose to protect his family that he has left. The bad guys are still roaming about. If you're familiar with the history, you know that those gentlemen, though known by name, were not brought to any kind of justice for another 38, 39 years. So I play with the idea of the fact that the bad guys are still roaming the city, roaming the neighborhoods. And he has an opportunity to exact vengeance and protect his family and be a man as it's worded in the play. And we get to watch him wrestle with that and find out what decision he ultimately takes. Dun, dun, dun! Ah! It's fictional, yes, but their story, those 4 little girls and the people around it, they're still with us. Their family is still with us. So we say 4 little girls, but there was more than 4 people harmed in that event. And so any way I can honor them and their heroism and their family's heroism, I hope this play does that. And I also hope it makes us ask questions as we continue to fight the good fight of seeing equality happen for real in our country on a regular basis. Thank you for having me. I can't hear you, Miss B. Jones.
Is she muted?
I'm not muted now.
Okay. All right.
What do we have to do to one man play Tide? What do we have to do?
Passing it back to Mr. Williams.
Okay, you'll go to our website at jwcpa.org, and there is on the first page a sign up. You'll sign up there, and on Friday, you will be able to get a link that will direct you to the show. but we need them to sign up. We need viewers to sign up today and tomorrow, and Saturday as well, until 7 p.m. For the show itself.
Now the show is Saturday or Sunday?
It's Saturday at 7 p.m.
7 p.m. Okay.
Yes.
Through Facebook.
And I should say it is Central Standard Time, because I have a few friends that are in other time zones,
Right.
and so you'll adjust accordingly.
Okay.
Mhm.
Cool. So the website again is?
It is jwcpa.org.
Okay.
And of course, those letters represent the Jonathan Williams Center for the Performing Arts. And some of your viewers might see our Facebook page. And I want to encourage them to go and like the page. And then from that, we got the acronym CPA. And of course, it's a nonprofit organization. And so that's how we get the .org portion.
Okay, cool.
Mhm.
I went on today and signed up for it. So before
Great.
Podcast.
Yeah. Well, I was able to take a look at the list, and I'm really pleased to see a number of people who have signed up. We do want to encourage more and more to sign up to see the show and show Crystal and others involved in the project that you really want to see more programming like this in the area.
Right. So how often do you do a production?
We have since the pandemic, we've kind of backed off a bit. So we have about 4 events per year now. We have the Black History Program. We have a summer camp for children ages 5 through 17. And that's going to be virtual this year. We have an end of the year meet and greet, and that's for all of the community. And we have a Christmas production that's generally the first or second week of December.
Now, is the person who's playing the part for Todd, is he from Beaumont or somewhere else?
He's actually a Houstonian originally. He's lived in LA for a while and then moved back to Houston, and is doing work with the Ensemble Theater and other theaters there in the Houston area. So we're happy to have him. Did you want to add to that, Crystal?
Yeah, Jason Carmichael. He's done film, TV, name it, done it. And for this particular project, he read the first original Crackpot version, like the version that nobody should have seen, like from the first scratch. So I just appreciate him. He's just kind of trotted through this whole process with me from, playwrights are funny people, we write. And then we listen to an actor say it and we're like, oh, is that what I wrote? Give me that back. And so the rewrite process of doing it again and again, right? The writing is rewriting, mantra is real. And so he's been very kind. But I mean, draft A. And I think we're on like draft LMNO, somewhere about that. And I'm grateful for this opportunity coming up. We'll get a chance to work on it in a workshop format in New York with the Riant and Jonathan Williams Performing Arts Center, the recipients of that Black Seed grant, and I know that process is going to push it to OT2RS, and for some people, knowing that another rewrite is down the pipeline is kind of exasperating, but for me, I know that the story of these 4 little girls and the dads that surround that story is worth the rewrite process.
Right.
Some stuff is not worth it. You're like, okay, stop playing. We done.
Right.
But if it's possible for me to tell that story any cleaner or any clearer, I'm willing to do it. So I'm grateful for even this process of you guys seeing the reading online, because I know there's going to be somebody that's going to type something and go, but what about? And I'm gonna go, of course. The others that make his theater so collaborative. It's so fun.
Yeah.
by the time people finish handling it and questioning you about it and handing it back to you, you have something so
Mhm.
much more beautiful and authentic than
Mhm.
if
Right.
you ever let anybody give you any feedback on it. That's the best way to kill something, if you ask me.
Right.
Mm.
Right.
I'm grateful. I'm super grateful. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm so honored to have both of you guys on here tonight. But before we close this out, give us one piece of advice uh, for other playwrights who's just getting started. What would you give them?
Don't be worried about people stealing your stuff. That
Mm.
the whole idea of somebody's going to walk off with your idea sometimes keeps your idea in the dark too long. It could have been
Oh,
taller, it could have been bigger, it could
interesting.
have been stronger by now. It
Mhm.
could have had meat behind it. So the fear aspect, fear does not birth anything into the world. It never does. It collapses things, in my humble opinion. So share the writing so that the writing can improve.
Mm. That's a very, very good point. I hadn't thought about that, but yeah, you go through the necessary channels. You get your word copywritten, of course. That's both written as well as music. But that's a good point, Crystal. In order to cause your work to be its very, very best, it requires collaboration sometimes. Yeah.
You got to put it on its feet to make it.
Hmm.
It's funny to me all day. I just
Hmm.
all day, right? But
Yeah.
when it's in front of the audience and they don't chuckle, it's not funny.
Mm. That's
God,
a good
God
point.
did say write it out. Write it out on paper. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
so that's a good point. Yeah, and people don't think about that. So
Right.
are you guys gonna ever write a play with senior citizen then? Like,
Ah! That had not come to mind, but I would
Listen,
imagine.
Miss D. Jones
Look,
already said she was trying to get in that cage, and you told her that she didn't have to put her dance skill down. So what she's saying is, find me a cage.
oh girl.
I hear you, Miss D. I hear you.
oh gosh, to say that Crystal doesn't like details, she certainly listened to me, doesn't she?
Oh, I like the story. I like it was like dancer turned educator, went back to the dance. Yes,
Right.
yes. Freedom.
That's
Yes.
good.
See, good hearing. Good hearing.
She did. She listened well, didn't she? But yeah, we hadn't thought about a show necessarily for seniors as in a theme, but all of our shows, with the exception of the summer camps, are open for actors of all ages. And so, but I think that would be a funny show, though.
Be funny, funny.
Yes,
I want
yes.
to get there just to even act it out.
Right, that would be funny. My gosh, I'm just thinking a comedy would be a good approach, but didn't have to be. But I would imagine that would be funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Mhm.
the wall says it's time for us to get on out of here. I mean, I don't want to go. I mean, I'm having a good time with you guys because I'm learning a whole lot about what you guys, how you guys working things out. But I
Mhm.
big job. You guys wear many hats, and I applaud you guys for everything that you've done. And I mean, you got all these different personalities to work with. So
Yeah, yeah.
that's a
But
job
Put
in
them out
itself,
here.
huh?
yeah, but that's really what creates the show, believe it or
Right.
not.
That's your
Yeah,
own personality.
yeah. It really is.
Right, right. So,
Mhm.
so it's I know it's a task, but
Mhm.
keep on doing what you're doing, and God bless you guys, and I pray nothing but the best for y'all.
Well,
So,
thank you so much. We really appreciate you having us, Deborah. We've enjoyed it.
and I enjoy you guys, and don't leave me when I get them off. Now, guys, thank you, thank my viewers for coming out today, and I know I'm usually here on Tuesday night, but I appreciate you guys and moving on Thursday night with me.
Yes.
Yes, I appreciate you guys. For thank you very much. And you know my motto: if I can help anybody as I pass along this way, then I know that my living is not in vain. In vain. Thank you, guys. God bless you. It's my prayer. Smooches to you. Bye, y'all.
Mhm.